How's it going, sports fans, and happy Hump Day. I hope everybody is having a solid midweek. I know we're all still in quarantine, so again, the days are blending, but hopefully you're making the most of your day. Hopefully you've got a little bit more of a sports jolt in you after the NFL draft that just gave us all a little bit more life to come back to the sports world for a minute, have 3 rapid days of just narrowing down on all football talk. It was super exciting for us, I know that much. Now, I know we're still trying to figure out where everything is going in terms of what season's going to pick up when. And, to tell you the least, we know that the NBA is really making the most effort here to get back going. But we will start with some NFL chat. When it comes to the Tampa Bay Bucks, there's been so much excitement revolving around them. We've got Tom Brady. We've got Rob Gronkowski, who came out of retirement to join the Tampa Bay Bucks. We've got Super Bowl 2021 joining Tampa Bay. So we're predicted to be one of the first teams to even be a part of the hosting city for the Super Bowl. As for other conversation that took place when it comes to Tampa Bay is when we signed Rob Gronkowski, there was conversation on what is going to happen with our tight end squad. We have Cameron Brate. We had O.J. Howard, who ended up stepping up a lot in the 2019 season because Cameron Brate was here some games, here not other games. He was dealing with injuries. He wasn't utilized as much. And O.J. Howard, started to work in a little bit more because last season he was working through an injury, and then he just came off the roster because he had to really focus on healing. Well, the good news is, guys, that O.J. Howard will be back in Tampa Bay for the 2020 NFL season. The Bucs took up the 5th-year option on O.J. Howard. The funny part about all of this is that just a couple of days ago, actually right before the draft, there was conversation taking place on the Patriots having interest in O.J. Howard. We actually threw some stuff on social media on if we were doing a little swapsy there on tight ends, but I'm so excited that he's going to be staying in Tampa Bay. You guys have no idea what it's like. Well, if you're a huge sports fan, then you do, but you have no idea what it's like to really have a secure tight end squad. I mean, this is a talented batch of tight ends. And Rob Gronkowski mentioned in his press conference when we had him introed in, he loves working with other tight ends. Yes, he's dominant. Yes, he's a force to be reckoned with, but he really genuinely enjoys having other guys, other talent around him to feed off of, to teach, to learn from. So between Cameron Brate, O.J. Howard, and Rob Gronkowski, this is going to be an exciting, tight squad to watch for the 2020 season. So congratulations to O.J. Howard for coming back to Tampa Bay. We are stoked to have you here. Other stuff with Tampa, or I don't know if it would be really necessary. I don't know if I'm fully on board with it yet, but if you guys have caught, Tom Brady's really turning news into entertainment. There was the whole thing about him getting kicked out of the park because he wasn't supposed to be there during the virus. The mayor even tweeted at him saying, welcome to Tampa, but don't break the rules during coronavirus. Then he supposedly walked into a stranger's house when he was trying to find one of the OCs for the team. Let's just say he's had his own interesting welcome, but I want to know you guys' thoughts on, are we going to start calling Tampa Tampa? Yes, there's been about 3 posts where he has literally put T-O-M-P-A. So is this now Tampa? Is this Tom Brady City all in all? Are you guys going to be walking around saying Tampa? I'm really intrigued to find out you guys' thoughts on that. But as for the Tampa squad, Tom Brady's had his welcoming situation. They actually cleared the fact that he is allowed to meet with the coaches and the staff for the Buccaneers. They tried to throw out there the other day that he may have been breaking some legalities and some guidelines as to how you're supposed to be operating in the sports world during coronavirus. Everyone said that he is clear and fine to do what he did. He just got to town. He's going to need to meet with these people. He's going to need to get acclimated in a different manner, and I'm sure Rob Gronkowski is next. In further news, when it comes to the Tampa Bay Bucks, we will have hopefully a surprise interview on Friday. We'll be sure to spread that across social media. Who our special guest will be coming this Friday. We had an interview with XFL Vipers for Tampa Bay, D Mount, the linebacker. He was awesome. He was a good time. Now, hopefully, we'll have another good time entertainment to bring you guys this Friday, and we hope to interview other Bucks players just to give you guys some insight on what they're up to during quarantine, how they're training because everything is virtual. Mind you guys, draft took place last week, Thursday through Saturday. Right now, we're in the middle of OTAs. And every guy, it's so weird for them to mention virtual OTAs, but that's what's taking place. You've got a whole squad lining up on Zoom conference to learn a playbook, to go over things, but you're not out there getting that physicality and building that true chemistry. So this is really weird times, but it's going to be something to see how these guys really operate, how they build, how they grow, and how they truly learn during these virtual OTAs. The one cool part, if you really think about it, though, is that a lot of veterans kind of opt out of the first leg of OTAs because they're either still trying to heal, they're traveling with families. So they don't really come together until the end of June, top of July. So this time frame, people are probably going to get a lot more educated, dive way harder into these playbooks. So we might actually be in for a more spectacular 2020 season in the sense that everyone's going to be sharpening their mental skills to a whole different level. As for other NFL conversation, we know that when it comes to the NFL draft, you're bringing in new talent. You're learning to build, your team around these young guys so that you can have a future of 4-6 years of heading towards that big goal of going to a Super Bowl. Well, the Vikings have been close multiple years in a row. I want to say the last 3 years they've actually been quite close, and they have been quite dominant. The conversation now is, should they be extending the contract of running back Cook, or should they be trading him out to another team? When you go through the draft, the biggest situation is the fact that you have free agents and you have veterans, and you have to make some major decisions here. So let us know you guys' thoughts. He has been a very clutch player for these guys, but when you have an Adam Thielen and they still have majority of their talent on the team, and they're building, newly around Cousins, so you really need to keep certain guys. Are they really the big plugs of your team? Let us know your thoughts. Now, I get no enjoyment over delivering dramatic news, gossip, not into that stuff. We're not here for that. But one of our dear friends over here at FNN, linebacker for the Jaguars, Telvin Smith, has unfortunately been arrested and will be charged a second-degree felony after a raid in his home. We don't know the details of what it was, who it was, and we're not going to dive into any of that, whether we knew it or not. The bottom line is that we send him our best wishes as he goes through this difficult time. Again, the guys should be in the middle of focusing on OTAs, virtual or not. This is still a very important time as you get ready to head into the season, regardless of what takes place, because at this point, we know that the bottom line is sports is looking to make a comeback. More than likely, they will be back. There just won't be any fans in the stadiums to be there to support them and cheer them head on. For the MLB, we've discussed the fact on Monday that they're going to spread between 3 cities, Arizona, Florida, and Texas. They're looking to take spring training facilities, isolate these guys, finish off their season. That's their goal. Yes, they have a lot of players not on board because they don't want to be away from their friends and family. But in terms of things that were not able to be negotiated, planned out, or restructured, baseball had to cancel their 2020 Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Are there players that you think should have been inducted in this year's Hall of Fame, or what players are you saddened to see not get the ceremony that they deserve in the 2020 Hall of Fame induction that will not take place any longer? Now, I kind of mentioned at the top of the segment that the NBA seems to be the one team fighting to get here, fighting to get their schedule, their practices, and their games back on board. Well, they got another extension of thought processing and brainstorming that they are just diving into. The next thing on the board for the NBA is considering Disney as a venue to continue their season. It's not that it's funny. It's just like, why Disney? I don't get it. Because even at this point, they're saying the idea would be to have 30 NBA teams, but if they cannot continue the regular season, they will just pull 16 teams and try to finish out a postseason. The bottom line is that Commissioner Adam Silver has stated that the widespread testing has to be the main line for getting these guys in these doors, in these facilities. He said he is not backing down because he knows the importance of testing. Other than that, they need medical personnel to be available at all times for the players for treatment, injuries suffered during games, and for continued testing. The bottom line is that they need testing to make sure that nobody is coming in through these doors carrying any symptoms. Now, let's remember, guys, there can be a lot of asymptomatic traits that people are carrying. You can have it and have no idea because you have 0 symptoms, and they have to try to take the best precautionary measures possible to make sure no players are walking around asymptomatic. Either way, they're really trying to get this off the ground. There's been conversation of possible locations from Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and the Bahamas. I signed up for the Bahamas. I will go be their personal reporter down there. No problem. As for Disney, though, that seems to be one of the greatest ideas they've come up with. Yet, I get it. ESPN Sports has a lot of separation, I guess. You got multiple courts. You have a way to keep people quite distant. No fans will be involved, obviously. So you can host a few teams down there, quite a few teams, and, get this season going. But it's just interesting because Disney has not spoken out on opening anytime soon. So we'll see what takes place with that. This Sunday, we talked about Michael Jordan's 10-sheet documentary called The Last Dance and how it was hitting another dramatic strike. Do you think that Michael Jordan has now overdone dragging Isaiah Thomas's name through the mud? Isaiah Thomas hit to ESPN last week stating that he thought all of this stuff was done and over with and behind him, let alone there's a personality you carry on the court, there's a personality you have off the court, and he feels like Michael Jordan is too focused on the on-court personality and dragging his name through the mud. I didn't think guys cared that much about that stuff, but let us know your thoughts if you think that Michael Jordan has now done too much in terms of the Detroit Bad Boys name and speaking on it and making a whole documentary of it. Realistically, when you make a documentary, by the time that it comes out and you have finished your work, it's going to be the topic of conversation, and it's going to be that way for a minute because it's just freshly brought to the table. There's plenty of information coming out in The Last Dance that people either speculated about or had questions about, and now it's either being confirmed or denied. It's going to be a conversation for some time. Personally, Isaiah Thomas, you're being sensitive. Relax, bro. It'll be done in just a couple of weeks. As for the NHL, I am excited to announce that we will finally be involved in some of the press conferences. We have got Yanni Gourde tomorrow at 1:30 talking about what he's doing during this quarantine, how he gets to spend more time with his wife, his daughter Emma, and did you guys know that he has a passionate hobby for woodwork? I'm intrigued to see if he shows us any of his pieces. That actually is a pretty spectacular hobby. Not because I'm a female, calm down, but you won't catch me playing with drills, devices, anything electronic that can cut fingers off. So I'll be intrigued to see what he comes up with or if he shows us any of his pieces. But we will be on that press conference call tomorrow with the Tampa Bay Lightning and Yanni Gourde to go over what he's been doing in quarantine time, what he knows or what he's looking forward to in terms of the season resuming, and just, kind of where his head's at with all of this. Because again, more than likely there will be no fans involved when games resume. So what does that do for players? Is it really a big deal? Is it going to matter that much? Or are these guys just going to throw on tunnel vision, get these seasons over with, and look on to the next season? Don't forget, if you guys have not taken a moment, check out those Doc Talk t-shirts because they do support a great cause. All proceeds go for Hillsborough County education. The teachers, the students, anybody who, when you're in school, that was your only, not only your interaction, not only your ability to learn, but your only time to eat, guys. These proceeds go to these kids so that they can have an opportunity to have meals outside of what they have known as the only way to get food. So now they're not just going to get that one breakfast or that one lunch. We have a chance to help them have full meals. We have a chance to really, fill in this time for them because we can't even imagine what it's like for them right now since they don't have a school to go to get that interaction and to get that food. So check out Alex Killorn's Instagram page. He is doing a pretty phenomenal job at being an Instagram influencer. He's already got better graphics than most people do, so that's fantastic. But it's all to a great cause. Once again, if you are in a position to give. If you need help, if you need relief, there are tons and tons of sources. Hit up Google, check out some research. Check out the Tampa One Fund because that is for people who just have all kinds of flux of situations taking place. Guys, we are here to look out for one another. So even though we are alone, we are in this together. This was just a quick evening wrap for us today. I appreciate you guys tuning in later than usual. I was trying to move during coronavirus and you can't touch people, you can't talk to people. So imagine trying to get keys, movers, and all your stuff in one place. That's why we had to push back today's episode, but I appreciate you guys' patience. We will be back at our correct time on Friday. We will hopefully have a Buccaneer interview that day as well, and we will have all the insight from Tampa Bay Lightning, Yanni Gourde's interview that takes place tomorrow. We will catch you guys on Friday.